A word of warning tonight for people who live in Toledo and have not been paying their water bills. The city delayed shutoffs for years because of the pandemic, but that window is now closing, and the city will start collecting on debts owed starting next week. Michael Sandlin has more on what's next in studio tonight. Michael, let's start with the amount that's owed.
Jeff, the head of Toledo's water department says there's $66 million in water, sewer, and refuse bills owed. And after a half-decade of leniency, it's time for them to collect. He says if people don't start paying their fair share again, they'll notice the repercussions almost immediately.
If you live in Toledo and you haven't been paying this, you might soon lose access to this. It's a decision that was just discussed during a city council meeting last week.
Director Stevens, I understand you have a presentation.
But it's one Public Utility Director Doug Stevens says has been planned since the moratorium was first put in place.
So the moratorium started in March of 2020 as a response to COVID, making sure people had access to water throughout the pandemic time period.
Stevens says while most cities ended their moratoriums by 2022, Toledo's smart water meter upgrade was coincidentally happening at the same time.
We didn't really have the resources to do the metering project and turn off people for non-payment. At the same time, we didn't want to drive people away from letting us in because they had a past due amount.
So the city delayed water shutoffs once again. And now, because of this extended moratorium, Toledo's water department has built up a tremendous debt.
We're talking about in the neighborhood of $66 million total.
From what I understand, Toledo's the highest amount of debt for the Department of Public Utilities in the state. So we really need to tighten up on collection efforts.
So starting Monday, that's exactly what they intend to do. Reaching out to the people who haven't paid and letting them know through email, letters, and even door hangers that if they don't start paying back what they owe, the water comes off.
Ultimately, shut off is the last resort, and we're hoping that, most people aren't going to get there.
But if someone stopped paying their water bill 5 years ago, how much would they actually owe today?
Let's just say they've had $75 a month. They're putting $900 a year for 5 years. They're going to have a $4,500 bill.
It's going to be pricey for non-payers, and Director Stevens says they don't expect people to pay it all at once, but people will need to make a payment plan with the city.
And they're going to have to put 5% down on that, so about $275, and they'll have to make monthly payments over 18 months.
Now, if you're someone who hasn't paid your water bill and you're intimidated by this news, the city does have options to help. Low-income families and the elderly are offered a 25% discount, and you can set that up by calling Engage Toledo. Reporting in studio, Michael Sandlin, WTOL 11.